welcome back to my channel. So today I have an exciting video for you guys. At least it's exciting for me. I've recently purchased some things from Ulta just to kind of restock my kit, and then I noticed that this palette came out and I basically died over it. It was a little bit pricey. I don't know if it was worth it, but it was pricey for the drugstore. So I went ahead and I picked up this NYX Fire like Elements palette, I think is what it's called, or NYX in your element. This is the fire. I know they came out with like water, earth, air, wind, I want to say, but this one intrigued me the most. I would say it was between this one and earth. But this one is just so pretty, and honestly, I wish I had the Anastasia Subculture palette because I feel like this reminds me of a dupe for it. It obviously doesn't have all the same colors as the Anastasia Subculture, but it definitely has some familiar ones. Like I feel like this one right here, the red, the orange, the yellow, this like teal one, this one right here. I feel like pretty much almost all the colors are in this palette. So if you didn't pick up the Subculture, I feel like this would be a pretty good dupe for it. Obviously, I don't have the Subculture, but I've seen it in person, and this is the first thing that comes into my mind when I see the Subculture palette. Like, this is an almost dupe for it. So I'm really excited to jump into this palette today. I honestly tested this out yesterday just a little bit because I wanted to play around. I didn't know what kind of look I wanted to do. Like, I played with this red and this orange and this one and this one and these two, and actually this one too. I played with basically all the colors, and I came up with a look that I think I want to do today for you guys. This is a super pigmented palette. It does have a little bit of kickback, but it's super pigmented, and just like all the other NYX palettes that I've used, I feel like this one is amazing. I feel like NYX is such a high-end drugstore brand. They always give you such good quality products for such an affordable price, but I will say this one is a little bit pricey. This was 30 bucks, I want to say. Granted, Ulta always has like some good sales, but 30 bucks for a drugstore, I mean, goddamn, that's a lot. Spend like $12 more and you get the Anastasia Subculture or any other kind of palette, you know? So I feel like NYX, like this was a little bit pricey, but we'll see if it's worth the money. So yeah, basically, if you are new here, make sure you hit that little button down below before you go. Subscribe, join my little family, follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, blah, 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 the rest of them, and let's just basically get started. So I feel like this video might be a little bit of a talk through and maybe a little bit of a voiceover. It just depends on my children. So let's just jump right into it before they start going crazy, and then I have to switch over to a voiceover. So first, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my skin and let it sit. So I'm recently on my menstrual, and I am breaking out like crazy. I don't know what happened this time of the month, but this time of the month, my skin was not having it. So I'm gonna take this Rose Gold Farsali beauty oil and prep my skin with this. I am just gonna go ahead and shake it and drip it all on my face like you see all those Instagram girls do. With a beauty blender, just go ahead and pounce it in. I would recommend when you use this oil to go ahead and put it on your skin, but let it sit for a while. Don't go in with foundation. I definitely have done that before. I was like, okay, this is a primer, so let me just go in with foundation right after, and I look like a greasy hot mess. So basically, if you're gonna do your eyes first, just go ahead and put this into your skin and let it sit and let your skin really soak it in, and then go in with foundation later. And honestly, my favorite way to use this beauty oil is for a lip primer. So just go ahead and do that. It really just smooths out your lips and any cracks or dryness that you may have. My skin is super dry right now. So as you guys can tell, my eyebrows are already done. I always feel like it's a little bit tedious when I do that on camera. So I always just go ahead and do it off of camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyelids, and for that I'm gonna go in with a Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This is the shade Sand, and I'm just gonna place it as so, and then blend it out. Oops. So I'm feeling like I wanna go in with that teal today, and maybe that first color that's kind of like a green yellow with some glitter for like a deep fall look. Not really. Yeah, I would say it's like a fall look, but it's more of just like testing out this palette and kind of just reviewing it for you guys, but going in with like a cool makeup look at the same time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Okay, so I went ahead and I set my eyelids using translucent powder, and we're just gonna jump right into the eyes. By the way, can you guys believe like it's basically holiday season, like it's almost Halloween. Not sure if I'm gonna do any Halloween looks this year because quite frankly, I'm not too good at Halloween looks, so I don't know. We'll see. So for the first color, I'm going to jump into this NYX Fire Elements palette, and I'm going to go with this color right here. A super soft, soft brown kind of color. And what I love about NYX palettes is that they come with a huge mirror. And I just feel like it makes it so convenient, especially when you're traveling or, for example, filming. So let me zoom you guys in just a little bit more. So I'm going to take this using a Sigma E40. And for this look, I kind of want it to be a blown out look. So I'm going to start a little bit further out because you can always go in and clean it up with a makeup wipe. So I'm going to start a little bit further out, packing the color in right there and then dragging it inwards. So this color is super soft, so you might not even be able to see it on my skin tone, but it's always good to start off with a soft transition color because it really lays down the base for the eye and lets all the other colors blend in really smoothly. So because this palette is a little bit bold, I'm going to be using some other shadows that are not in this palette. But you can definitely come up with some cool colors using all these colors in this palette. It's just for this particular look right here, I don't have 2 colors that I need, which is why I'm going to jump into another palette for that. Okay, so for the next color, I'm going to go into a Makeup Geek shadow in Chickadee. It's this really pretty like pop of orange, poppy kind of color. And it's really going to pop through and showcase at the very top of our crease, which is why I want to go in with a little bit bolder of a color, not just that soft brown that's in the palette. So we're going to do the exact same thing we were just doing with that soft brown, just with this Chickadee color from Makeup Geek. And you want to brush this a little bit upwards because when you go in with those other colors, this will kind of get hidden. So you do want a little bit of that to poke through in the end. So you want to bring it up a little bit more, and then later on we can go in and clean up that brow bone. Okay, because before I go into that deep teal color, I kind of want it to blend out and give you like a gradient effect. So because of that, I'm going to go into a soft olive color. This is High Tea by Makeup Geek. This is really just going to give you that gradient effect. So we're going to go in with this color a little bit lower in the crease before we apply that dark teal. And this I'm using a Morphe M433 brush. Or nope, I lied. A Morphe M441. So you just want to tilt your head back a little bit, and in that crease, just go ahead and start building up this olive green. You can always switch back into that Sigma E40 and just buff out the edges so you don't have any harsh lines in that crease. Honestly, this eye look is a little bit tedious because you are working with really deep matte colors, and those eye looks can be a little bit trickier than going in with like shimmers on the lid. So you really just want to take your time building up all these mattes because things can get dirty really quickly and we don't want that to happen. Okay, now going back into that Sigma E40, things are a little bit messy. I'm going to go back into Chickadee and a little bit of that soft brown just mixed together and just dust out those edges and kind of bring that Chickadee back into light because like I said, we lost it a little bit when we're going in with other colors, and you really want that warmness to really shine through in the end. All right, so it's looking a little bit better. So now I'm going to go in with a really soft pencil brush and kind of carve out my crease. This is kind of going to be a halo eye, but like I said, it can get really messy, so you want to work really slowly. So I'm going to place this really low on the crease, kind of on top of the lid. I hope you guys can see. And I'm going to drag this across my crease. But you want to make sure you keep this extremely low because if you bring this too high, that's when you basically mess up the whole eye look. Okay, now we are going to switch to a Morphe M330 brush, which is kind of like a pointed, fluffy blending brush. And we're just going to really keep that point down low because, again, you don't want to drag it up. And you just want to buff out what you just placed down. This is basically just slowly beginning to build up the intensity of this eye look by giving you that gradient effect. And this eye look is very tedious. It's probably not gonna be for everyone, but it's always fun to come up with different looks, you know? Okay, now I'm gonna go in with the Sigma E25 with that same, oh, sorry, forgot to show you. With this teal color is what I placed down in the lower crease. Now I'm gonna go in with the Sigma E25 and just pack it on to that outer lid. It goes on kind of black looking, but I promise you it's not. It's like a super pretty, like olivey teal kind of color. So I'm just gonna pack it into my outer lid and then drag it into the crease very slowly. Now going back into this pointed blending brush, I am just gonna buff this out and drag it outwards, giving you that blown out effect. We're basically gonna be repeating this step over and over until I get the intensity that I want, because you wanna go slowly building up these colors so you don't end up looking like a raccoon later. And it gives you a really blown out look. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into that High Tea by Makeup Geek, that olivey kind of green, and go back into that crease and kind of bring that color back in and buff out all those edges that we just made with that deep teal color. You can see things look a little bit messy and a little bit dirty, but now we're gonna go in with some concealer and really clean out those edges. I'm gonna go back in with that Maybelline Fit Me concealer and carve out my crease, or my lid space. And then I'm gonna go in with this flat shader brush I always use from Morphe. This is an M167. And just blend out that concealer and place it where I want it to go. Okay, now that I have placed down that concealer, I'm gonna go into this first shade right here. Really pretty yellowy green kind of gold color, and I'm gonna place that to the center of the lid. At first I felt like I wanted to do a cut crease, but I think I'm gonna go in and do a halo eye. I'm gonna take that little pencil brush again and go in with that deep teal color and place that in the inner corner of our eye. So when you do this step, you want to take your time, because if you mess up in the inner corner, you kind of screw up the whole look. So you want to take your time so you don't get messy with it. And you're just gonna place it on top of where you carved out with that concealer, kind of dragging it on top of that gold green color. I'm gonna go back in with that teal and place a little bit more on this outer corner. And now with a small fluffy blending brush, this is a Morphe M562, I'm gonna take that teal again and drag that into each other, connecting them in the middle. Now going in with that E25 and just buffing out those edges. And I'm gonna take a clean buffing brush and just buff this inner corner out as well. I know this is like so much work and I'm so sorry, but this is just the look that I decided to do today, you know? Okay, going back in with that electric green yellow, I'm gonna go back in and re-intensify that color. And then now going in with this pointed blended brush, just buff out those edges. In with all the brushes that we just used. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of liquid liner and just line that top lash line. Actually, I lied. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this Stila Gold Goddess glitter and pop that into the center of the eye look just to let that gold pop a little bit more. Literally like the tiniest amount, like so. I love this gold glitter. It's literally my favorite one from their line. And just with that same blending brush, just push it into the skin and just blend it out a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with NYX liquid liner and line that upper lash line. Okay, I am going to take a makeup wipe, clean up this side, and go ahead and finish the other eye, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, now for the face, we're going to jump in using this Angel Veil primer by NYX. I love this primer. It's like a silicone based primer and it really fills in all your pores and smooths out your entire face. This is honestly my favorite drugstore primer at the moment. I use it nonstop on myself and on my clients. So now for foundation, I'm going to go in with an oldie but a goodie for me. It's this Wet n Wild foundation, Photo Focus foundation. I honestly love this foundation. It gives you such a pretty airbrush finish look to your face, and it's only like $5. Like, can you beat that? It also reminds me a lot of MAC Studio Fix Fluid by the smell of it. So I'm going to go in with this Morphe buffing brush. I forgot the number of this brush. I think it's an M439. I'm going to go ahead and buff this all into my skin, and once I am done buffing it in, I'm going to take a beauty blender and just go over it for any excess or any harsh lines that we left over. Now going into the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. This is a cream contour palette. I am taking that middle shade right there and applying it along my forehead, my hairline, my my cheekbones, underneath my chin, and then my nose. I absolutely love this contour palette. I love her powder one, and I knew I would love her cream one. It literally blends out like a dream. It's so easy and it's so buttery, and it just sinks right into your skin. It's so pretty. So I went ahead and placed those in all the areas that I needed to contour, and then I just went ahead and blended it out. Once I am done blending all that out, I'm going to go in with concealer. So for concealer, I'm going to go in using this NARS Creamy Pot Concealer in the shade Macadamia. I still am loving this concealer, guys. I know I've used it in like my last however many videos, but I am so obsessed with this concealer, it's not even funny. So I went ahead and applied this on my forehead, my chin, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and underneath my eyes. Before I blend it out, I'm going to go back into that Kat Von D cream contour palette and take that yellow highlighting shade and place it right underneath my concealer for my eyes, just to give me a more highlighted effect, and also on my chin and my nose. I again love this cream contour color right here. I absolutely loved or adored the yellow powder, so I knew I was gonna adore this yellow one as well in cream. By the way, sorry if it seems like I'm speeding through this tutorial. It's just you guys see me do my face all the time, and it's kind of the same routine, so I didn't want to sit here and explain to you the same thing over and over like you guys see me do it in every video, which is why I'm speeding through it. So here I'm taking the Cover FX highlighting drops and placing those to the top of my cheekbones, and then going in and buffing it out with the beauty blender. Now I'm going to top that off using Becca's highlighter in Opal. I haven't used this highlighter in so long, guys, it's not even funny, and I forgot how pretty and how intense this highlighter is. It's definitely an oldie but a goodie. So I'm using a Morphe fan brush just to buff that over the top of that cream, placing it on my nose, my chin, my cupid's bow, and in between my brows. This is like my new favorite highlighting spot, and I absolutely love it. Now for setting powder, I recently purchased this Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in the shade medium. It's a little bit too dark for me, so I'm going to mix in a little bit of Airspun translucent and go ahead and set my face using that powder. Honestly, I'm not even going to front. This Maybelline powder is pretty legit, and it came in a lot of different colors, including a translucent one and some for dark skin tones, and I absolutely love how they came out with all those colors, and this powder is really good, so don't sleep on that powder, guys. So I'm basically baking or setting, whatever you want to call it, in all the places that I normally do, and then going in with a dual fiber brush and just blending everything out and setting the entire face as I am dusting away that powder. You guys can see right here as I am dusting it away from underneath my eyes how flawless it leaves my skin looking. It literally looks airbrush. It's not even funny. So now I'm going to go in with this Mario Badescu setting spray and just go ahead and spritz my face just because I didn't want it looking so dry. So now for bronzer, I'm going to go into ColourPop bronzer in Alexis Ren, I feel like it is. And I'm using this to really bronze up my face on my forehead, my cheekbones, my jawline, yada yada yada. You guys know know where I always bronze up the face, just adding some color to my skin. Once we're done bronzing up our face, I'm going to go into blush. And for blush, I'm going to be using Milani's Luminoso blush. This is such a soft, natural, gentle kind of blush. It just adds a little bit of a sheen to your cheeks. So once we're done with that, we're moving on to the under eyes. So this is going to be really quick. For the under eyes, I'm going to take a pencil brush with that teal color and just brush that all the way across my lower lash line, just buffing it out very lightly because you don't want it to get really messy underneath. Then we're going to go in with Makeup Geek's High Tea, using that same brush and going ahead and buffing out that teal with that olive green high tea. Once we're done buffing that out, I'm going to go into that Chickadee color from Makeup Geek with a fluffier blending brush and just buff out those two colors with that Chickadee color. Once we're done buffing everything out and really smoking out our lower lash line, I don't want it to get a lot deeper, so I'm going to go in with a nude eyeliner brush and just line my waterline with this nude liner. It's going to really open up my eyes since the eye look is so deep and so dark. I didn't want to add black because I didn't want to go in and really make it so dramatic. So I went in with the nude liner instead. Then I went ahead and coated my bottom lashes, and then we are done with the eye look. And I didn't show this on camera, but I put Fuego highlighter in my inner corners. So now for lips, I'm going to go into Rockin' Rose lip liner by Jordana. So I'm going to line my entire lips with this color, kind of overlining the top, but then keeping the sides the same. Just going in with this lip liner because we're going to go in with a true nude liquid lipstick. So I want to have a darker lip liner underneath so that true nude looks a little bit more lively. So for this color, I'm using Dose of Colors Sand. I absolutely love this nude. It's such a pretty color, and Dose of Colors has the best liquid lipstick formula. So once we are done applying Sand by Dose of Colors, I don't know, I haven't been into a matte liquid lipstick in such a long time. I just feel like it looks so like dead and bland when it's matte. So I went ahead and used the Dose of Colors Desi and Katie collaboration in the lip gloss called Over the Top. And I absolutely love this combination together. It just gives such a pretty pout to your lips. So I applied this in the center of the lips so it can give me a natural pout. And then I went ahead and finished off the look with some setting spray, and that completes this look. I'm going to add some extensions, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Alright guys, that completes this look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me come up with this look right here. I'm actually really obsessed with these colors. They're very dark and very intimidating, but with this soft nude lip, I feel like it kind of brings it down a little bit so it's not as intimidating, but I absolutely love this look, and this lid color is giving me life right now. I love like electric yellowy green kind of colors like this. It actually reminds me of the color in the Kylie Royal Peach palette that I'm obsessed with, and I love it. So as far as this palette goes, I still feel like it's pretty expensive, but I do feel like you get your money's worth with this palette. I feel like the Earth palette is a little bit more subtle and a little bit more wearable than these colors right here. But if you are a girl like me that likes to experiment with color and you don't mind color and it doesn't scare you, then pick up this palette right here, because this Fire palette is fire. Like, not trying to be corny, but it really is. This orange and red and yellow, all these colors just give me so much life. So I absolutely love these colors. They're extremely pigmented, they blend very well, and that's basically all I have to say about it, besides it being a little bit pricey. But if you are in the market for a new palette and you don't mind spending the buck on this, I would say go ahead and pick it up, or wait until like NYX has buy one get one 50, so that you guys can feel like you got a little bit more of a deal other than that. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this look right here, and that's basically all I have to say to you guys. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that little subscribe button down below before you go, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Say the word, say the word.